We call these nudges. So you can start nudging down someone a specific path. Like, let's say I want my brother to start. We call these nudges. And let's say I wanted my brother to start dating girls and just find the value and the beauty of relationships and having a kid and a family. Or maybe I'm the father of the family and I want my first grandkid. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give nudges, because I know that if I sit them down and I say, hey, are you going to have a kid? It's not going to go well, right? So instead you're like, yesterday I had dinner with my best friend from high school, and he just had his second grandkid. Oh, it was so beautiful seeing that. Nudge. You're not interfering with their free will, but all of a sudden now the kid knows, like, oh, man, I know my dad really wants a grandkid. Maybe I should start dating. Maybe I should. And now you could say, is that necessarily a bad thing? Like, it could lead them to happiness. It could lead them to one of the most incredible feelings in the world, love, right? So the nudges don't always have to be bad. They could actually be a really good thing. But we have to think about that, right? Like, it's where discernment comes in. You have to evaluate, is this actually good for me? Do they know something that I don't? Am I making a mistake? But then you start evaluating and you go down a path where, like, well, if I have a girlfriend, well, then I'm spending money, and all of a sudden we're going on dates. Maybe I stop drinking. So, maybe now I'm going to start drinking again. So guess what? They just got you to engage with the system of the game. All of a sudden, you're like, well, okay, I'm going to get a haircut. I'm going to buy new clothes. I need to have a good job. I need to drive a nice car. Gotta look good for her. Gotta impress her. And, yes, of course, we should say that none of those things are needed to be in a relationship. But when all you're hearing is, well, she's not going to like you if you don't have those things, you might, even let's say you survive that. You're not influenced by those things. But what if she has been getting nudges this entire time? And power of suggestion to bypass free will, which is basically saying, if a guy doesn't take you to a 5-star or what's a nice restaurant, whatever the best, 4-star, whatever it is, to eat like a steak and have wine, then he doesn't care about you. If he doesn't take you on a trip within the first 3 months, he's not a good boyfriend. If he doesn't clean, if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't have his own apartment, high rise, or if he doesn't have a nice car that's at least $30,000, all those things are nudges and suggestions. And now she might believe those things. Like, why do you think all those specific girls have like this list of like requirements? Like, you think they just made them up themselves? Someone planted those things in their head. Someone showed it to them. Magazines. Who created those magazines? What if the author of those magazines had literally one of those dark spirits telling them, say this, write this, do this, write this. And they were just writing, and it's like all of a sudden they got like inspiration. Like a pop-up appeared on a website that said guys should care about girls by taking them on nice dates. They're like, oh my gosh, yes, nice dates. And now they start writing that in the article, and now they present that article to the girl, because guess what, at school their friends talk about that article. They all at lunchtime have the new Cosmo magazine or whatever, and they're talking about it there, and she's the only one who hasn't, because her mom has protected her from outside noise. But she's seeing all her friends read that magazine, and now she feels the need to fit in because they're laughing. It's like, well, you don't read the magazine, you're weird. So now they target her because they knew that since a kid everyone has called her weird because her mom overprotected her, sheltered her. So now that's the in, right? You're weird, you're weird, you're weird. So now she's like, okay, fine. So now she starts reading the magazine and she sees these things. And then she sees one of her friends who, she has the look of what the magazine says is the hot girl. So now she compares herself to her. She starts building an insecurity in her. You see where I'm going with this, guys? You see how easily you can literally, just through the power of suggestion, completely bypass free will. just literally nudging one person to nudge another person to nudge another person, and you completely created that one person who your target was to go down this set road just through the power of suggestion and nudges. You used magazine, you used friends, you used the data that was an insecurity that there was created, you knowing that her mom protected them from it, and you're like, crap, we couldn't get into her, we couldn't get her to engage with the system, so how do we do so? It's this huge web that all connects. Boom. And how do they know all this stuff? A lot of it is, like I said, if you speak it, it gets put into the system. If you tell someone else, it gets put into the system. Cameras, microphones, your phone, ads, anything you write, anything you put on social media, they have that information. Now, you can bait them with the wrong information, but think about that. How messed up is it that you now literally have to play the game? Whereas, like, I have to intentionally bait them in certain directions to protect myself? At that point, are you even living? Imagine if you just, yeah, you are. But it's like you're living a movie. You're living like Jack Bauer in 24 or Person of Interest or things of that nature. You're literally trying to counter a system of force that's beyond imagination, beyond belief, but it's real. So now imagine if they know your location, because you have your phone on you the entire time and you have location services on, and you walk outside the door. Guess what? Now they know where you are. So now these things can make sure that they're gonna, or they know your schedule, your routine. Hey, every day at 7 a.m. he goes out. Okay, now they can create encounters or fabricate events or situations. And if you don't want to believe in manifestation or literally spawning something out of thin air, just believe it as, hey, the neighbor. They're going to use the neighbor. They're going to present something to them, like I said, a PowerPoint slide in their sleep to make them wake up and be like, okay, all right, I need to go on my walk. And that person on the walk they're going to be kind of grumpy, and they're going to see that other you, and I'd say I like to wear green, and they hate green. They're like, oh, why do you like green? So they literally use someone else with a nudge to then go out there and cause you a trigger or make you feel bad. Think about that, guys. They know where you are to plan things, events, and situations to show you them, to encounter them. If you play it correctly, if you remove or take away a lot of the privacy, if you are more silent, if you write things down, if you understand how the game works, you can start fighting back. And it'll take them more time before they can create these events to literally cause you problems. Now, the goal, the end goal, the whole point of this guide, of this mission is where you can literally just laugh at it. You can resist it. You know what's happening because you're like, really? That's what you're showing me again? You're using that card? I'm like, it's going to get more blatant too. Like, let's just say they might be able to recreate someone that traumatized, like, let's say you got assaulted by someone. You're like, oh, crap. How do you even exist? Like, wait, what? You look exactly like that person. You're like, what the fuck? How is this, excuse my language, but you're like, how is this possible? Literally. I wish I recorded some of the videos and pictures of some of the things that I've seen. There's literally people that are exact clones, essentially, of someone else, from your memory bank. And just think about that, guys. Like, it's real. It's 100% real. I would bet it on the life of all my family, my child, everyone, that it's real. The more you know, the more blatant they're going to get, because now they know they don't need to trick you anymore. The illusion is gone. So when that happens, what are they going to do? You literally, like your worst enemy, the person you hate the most, they'll make that person appear in front of you in some way, shape, or form, whether a reminder, whether something, just anything. And they'll try anything because they know, like, well, that used to work a year ago. Come on, guys, we need to be able to get him negative. We need to get him insecure. We need to make him feel fear so we can spawn the energy drainer and start taking his energy. And even if you think about it, like you don't believe in the energy draining, what happens when you're hurt and you're in a negative environment? You're not progressing on things. You're not working on things. You're not improving on things. Now you're going to cause other people problems. So what happens when you cause other people problems? Well, guess what? Now they're not changing things and they're going to be satisfied with being an eternal wage slave, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Just think back on your life. Like, just pause right now. Just pause. Put on some music and reflect on your life. Just think about all those moments where you're like, that seemed weird. Like, did someone say something that just made you be like, how did they know that? Or like, that's really weird. Like, why would they? Oh my gosh, wait. Your grandma is also from the Bavaria region? Wait, what? Mine is. Start paying attention. There are no coincidences in this life, in this world. This is a gladiator arena that we live in. And currently, it's not paradise because of these forces that are doing this stuff. But once you understand it and we fight back and we sing together, if we work on this together, we can create a paradise. We can make it paradise. Because eventually, first of all, if we all sing together and we fight against it, those things will vanish. They will be destroyed. Period. They're going to be gone. Their days are numbered. But if we just even understand it and we can guard ourselves, we know how to shield ourselves, we know how to protect ourselves, we know how to reframe it, we know all, and I'm going to get into all these tactics. They have no power over us anymore. Even if it like affects you a little bit, you're like, ugh. Because, and I'm going to get to this. This is a sign for me to keep going, but it's just, you can now laugh at it.